Are we overvaluing the center position in the draft? I mean, a lot of people are assuming that Schmitz is not going to be there by the time we go in the second round, and Tippmann will be gone. I mean, these are some of the top centers people are talking about in the draft, right? Tippmann and Schmitz. Some people talk about interior guard Avia, who could play both. We talk about Stromberg. We talk about Weipler. There's some guys, but a lot of people are nervous because as of right now, we don't have a third round pick. And we're assuming we're only going to have one second round pick. So a lot of people say that second round pick has to be center, and it probably won't be Schmitz because he'll be gone long before that. But I don't know. I question that because the free agency market isn't implying that. McGovern, our former center, who may not have been popular in our world, and we may not have thought very highly of him, but if you look at every player ranking in different systems, DVOA or PFF, he was a top 10 center according to these rating systems. And it seems that the market for centers dried up. People don't want to pay over $6 million for a center, and they certainly don't want to give multi-year contracts. Now, I'm sure we've talked to McGovern a little bit. We know we've spoken with Jones from Tennessee, and probably are the leading candidate, the leading team to get Jones at center. And that wouldn't be a long-term solution, but it would certainly take care of this year and take the pressure off of us. Now, I, for one, think that in the fourth round, one of the centers I mentioned might be available. I think that Schmitz might be available in the second round. He certainly will not be available past that. But as far as the other guys, I don't know, because it doesn't seem like teams are urgently running to get a center. Now, some might argue the reason the free agency market is so slow for center is because of the draft, and teams are waiting to select centers in the draft. But when you talk about price tags of $6 million, I don't think that's the case. I don't think teams would hold back on spending $6 million to fill the center position rather than use a top 2 pick, a first round, second round pick on center, when for $6 million you could address the position. So I think that centers are going to drop in the draft. I do. Now, the top premier guys won't be there, but in the fourth round, you might get a Stromberg. It's possible. I don't know who else. I mean, these guys might slip. Can Weipler slip? I mean, it's possible. Now, it's more likely teams don't value third round picks as highly and can stomach picking centers in that range. So that, of course, that brings up the argument of should the Jets just trade down a little bit with the 13th pick if there's a partner, get our third round pick yet? Because really the truth is the third round pick probably would be the ideal spot to grab our center. Now, if we sign Jones or re-sign McGovern, that takes a lot of the pressure off, because then we can wait till draft day, wait till the fourth round, and make a decision. If our top 3 or 4 guys on the board, whoever JD likes, is not there, he could say, okay, well, we'll address this next year in next year's draft or through free agency, but we have our center, we're good, we have McGovern, we have Jones, we're set. So it takes a lot of pressure off. And then if a guy we love is there, we grab him. And that's our future center. So we have options. There's no panic in the center position. I know people are panicking right now because as of right now, nobody is signed. But we know that at the snap of a finger, we could sign one of these veteran guys because they're just sitting there. And at the worst case, we know that we're going to have at least one second round pick, and we could address the position. It would be nice not to have to. It would be nice to be able to use the first 2 picks for offensive tackle and then defensive tackle. That's what I'd prefer. Defensive tackle is such a big need for this team right now. I do want to say people should not panic, though, about Quinnen Williams. People are talking about Quinnen Williams and how is it going to affect him of who's playing next to him. Well, the reality is when John Franklin Myers lined up on the inside with Carl Lawson on the outside, and that was our alignment, about 70% of Quinnen Williams' sacks came with that alignment, not with Sheldon Rankin's or Shep next to him. The majority of sacks for Quinn Williams came when JFM was actually moved to the inside or was pass rushing from the inside. So I'm not worried about Quinn Williams, but we do need to address that position. So all the reason to sign a center, to take that edge off, to get a third-round pick for center, so we can go high on a defensive tackle, an offensive tackle, and continue to work on solidifying the trenches for this team. And that's my take on it. If you like the video, hit the like button. That's all I ask. It really helps. And you can hit that little round ball guy too, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And for now and forever, go Jets.